Hello everyone, Darkizer here, welcoming you back to the next episode of my Space Engineers Survival Battlecruiser build. This is going to be a shorter episode. I wanted to do basically just an update since my last episode. I have installed a second Leviathan thruster on the stern of the ship, and I did this thruster the same way as I did the other one. I basically installed the thruster and then I put in a little... Okay, obviously we're having some sort of an issue, and I'm not sure if that's a glitch in the game or if that's something going on with the Leviathan thruster mod itself, but for some reason we're getting multiple reports of all of the components. Hopefully that is not going to be a game-breaking issue, but I think I'm going to have to report that to the modder. In any case, what I did was I went ahead and put the thruster in, and then I put in some steel plate just so that I didn't accidentally wind up breaking anything or accidentally grinding the thing away. I have managed to almost completely enclose, or I think I actually did now completely enclose. Yep, I've completely enclosed the first engine room, at least on the upper portion. I still have this portion down here that I need to close off. I need to finish some welding. Got my staircase in, as I showed last episode. I also put in some gyroscopes. And by some gyroscopes, I mean I put in 18 gyroscopes. And now we are under gravity. So I have 18 gyroscopes. All of this is all set up. You can see everything. I can work on everything. These are using the Ultra Gyroscope mod. Now, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that each of these is basically the equivalent of 27 normal gyroscopes. And it does fill an area 3x3x3. So we are actually running basically what amounts to 27 smaller gyroscopes, all in one big package. The other thing that I needed to do, and the other reason that I put on the other Leviathan thruster, is I wanted to see how well my gravity field would encompass the height of the ship. And as you can see now, I have about 10 or 15 more blocks, maybe 20, in height before I stray out of my gravity field. So I'm good to go. As far as this is concerned, I have the same or more distance down here. So this is the boundary of my ship. No, actually, I don't have as much space down here, but that's because I bumped all of the gravity generators up. I put them on columns that are 10 blocks high, so I shifted everything 10 blocks upwards from the center line. But I don't have that much more to build underneath. So this will be the lower boundary of the ship, and then I have the upper boundary up here. So the ship won't be any higher than this. Anything that sticks out will be something that is purely either cosmetic or it's utilitarian, but it won't be something that is actually habitable. So I won't have any corridors or any compartments or any rooms that will not have gravity, so you don't have to worry about floating around. Did a little bit more welding, probably not in any areas that you're going to be seeing. So we shall see how that goes. I think this is the additional area, one of the additional areas that I welded. Again, I'm trying to weld areas that I know that I'm going to be working in relatively soon. And I'd like to distribute. I took out some of my spacer blocks when I welded that up somehow. I may have crashed through those. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that. also started to weld up the top of some of the spacer blocks just to give me an idea of how things were going to work. I needed to make sure that I could include these jumpers, because I don't want to dig this through the deck and put it up underneath. I'd rather put this up above, and so it's sandwiched in between the armor layers. So this is what sort of space I'm going to have to work with, and I'm going to have to figure out a system for getting over these damn things, either short ladders or short staircases or something, because otherwise I'm going to be walking around here in a gravity field, and I'm going to have to hop over one of these things, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm going to have to figure that out. So this gives me an idea of what this utility layer is going to look like, and then of course this will have interior block on top of it, and that gives me my final height for that particular deck. And all of this should match up with my staircase, and it looks like it does. And I may run a connector series of blocks over to there just to make sure that everything all lines up well. And I have to start doing all of this, and I want to start running the keel out so that I have everything sandwiched in, because then I'm also going to have to make sure that I can get from one side of the ship to the other, and I want all of those areas to include airlocks. I want the different compartments in the utility layer to be compartmentalized. I can't have this whole thing open in between, because if I have a breach anywhere on the perimeter of the ship, then I'm going to have this entire section of my ship is going to be depressurized, and that would be a disaster. So I need to make sure that I have it all sealed off and pressurized. And as I mentioned in my last episode, it's the interior of this thing that's going to kill me. I could build the ship just the empty shell and stick some guns on it, stick some thrusters on it, and put a whole bunch of reactors on it and make it look pretty. But I want to make the ship functional on the inside. And I think that's the part that's going to drive me nuts. But I started framing all of this out. This is identical to the lower engine room. I want to get all of these big Leviathan thrusters at least at a point where I know where they're spaced. I know where they're set up. I want to get the engine rooms built around them, or framed up at least around them. I do want to do things carefully. I want to make sure that I take this one step at a time. I don't want to do something ridiculous and then have something suddenly break. It looks like I ran myself. Did I run myself out of iron again? I ran myself. That's why I stopped at 240,000 steel plates. I think I ran myself out of iron again. Well, son of a bitch. Well, back out for more mining, apparently. It's a never-ending struggle. So, that's everything for our episode today. Thank you very much for following the series. As I mentioned last episode, if there is a particular part of the ship that you would like to see me work on, or that you would like to have me attempt to design or attempt to lay out, because it may help you with some other project, then feel free to go ahead and leave me a comment or a personal message, and I will see if I can't bump that up on the schedule. As always, likes are appreciated, and subscriptions doubly so. Thank you very much for watching. This is Darkizer, signing off.